Hey, welcome back and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Today we're doing something that I haven't done for 30 years. I'm going to be replacing a piece of equipment here in the shop. And it's not a comparison video or an unboxing video or anything like that. There's enough of that garbage on the internet of a review of the RYOBI belt sander. But what I've got here is my RELIANT belt sander. It is the same exact size. So it's a 4-inch belt and a 6-inch disc. And I've just gotten a RYOBI 4-inch belt sander, 6-inch disc sander. And like I said, it's not going to be a review video of that. What I really want to do is compare this particular cheaper belt sander to my cheaper 30-year-old belt sander. Yes, I bought this thing 30 years ago. Manufacture date of 1992. So one quick comparison between this one and that one is the on and off switch for this one is in a really bad spot the way I have it mounted. It's under here. Where this RYOBI here already gets a positive point is here's the on off switch, which when I mount that on here, it's going to put that switch right here on and off. Very easy to get to. So right there with the newer cheap model, there's a benefit in having that switch there. But here's a vacuum attachment port. Guess where that's going to end up? That's going to end up right there, and I believe it'll be unusable unless I can come up with a way to make a pan or a tray or something that goes over that and then have the exhaust port come out the side, which maybe I'll get creative and see if I can come up with something so I can hook a vacuum up to it and be able to have the vacuum with this setup. All right, something else I wanted to point out real quick, and this particular belt in here, look how thin that is. I just can't fathom that thing will last very long. But if you look at the 30-year-old model, it's got an old M20 belt on it that I think you can go to just about any place and reorder one of those, probably an auto parts store of some sort. That belt's 30 years old, still works. This one, I'd be willing to bet that in 30 years, there's no way that thing will even be anywhere on this planet anymore. One thing with this old RELIANT is here's your belt tensioner to change belts, release that lever, very similar to this one in here. Put that in and release it. One thing I've noticed is this belt slides off the backside, which in my case over here, it is kind of a pain. It comes off, there's enough clearance, so that's the downside with this one, having the belt go out the backside, how I have it mounted. And that would specifically be for me. But this one, the belt comes off towards me. But here's the downside to it. It's not a toolless belt change because it's got this stop here for this platform. And I've got it loosened up just to show now. Well, not loosened up, but anyhow, you have to lift that up to slide the belt off to get the belt past that stop point. And in order to do that, you have to unloosen this screw over here. What that does is just a clamp, and it tightens down on that shaft in there. As you can see, that's where the bottom of the belt table rests. You can't get the belt off of there unless you unloosen that, lift this up, and you almost have to go up high enough so it doesn't fall over on you to remove the belt. But like I said, the nice thing is the belt comes out this side to remove it. So it's got a benefit of removing it towards me for over, in my application over there, compared to that one. But the darn thing, you have to actually have an Allen wrench. If I can come up with something that I don't need to unloosen that to change that. This one has a very similar stop on it. It will rotate up and down, but because the belt goes out the back side of it, there's nothing in the way. Maybe if I look hard enough and come up with an idea, I can find a way to put a stop instead of here, put it over here. I'm just going to do a quick slow motion speed test, and you'll see what I mean once I do this, to see if we can tell if this belt is actually moving faster than that belt. All right, this is going to be a quick, simple, easy test to see if I can see differences in speed. But what I'm going to do is just take a piece of soapstone. It's kind of like chalk. And I'm going to put a good size mark across the pad there and a good size mark across the pad here. I'm going to turn them both on and then record it in slow motion, and you should be able to see one belt running faster or slower than the other. All right, so I think we have a clear winner. The RYOBI, you can see that line appear many more times than you can on the one old belt sander I have here. And this very similar to like checking your timing on a car where you have the light gun there and it shows up where your timing's at. It was kind of the same thought I had in mind, as to just to give a rough idea of which one actually has more revolutions. It doesn't really matter to me how many times it goes around. What I really wanted was something that was a little bit faster. Let's do a quick comparison on the 6-inch disc sander portions of these. So this is my 30-year-old model, and you can see there's been no guarding taken off of this. That's just the way it is. You got the table here for your 90-degree sanding or whatever you want to do there. And this one's got a table with it that'll get bolted on there. But before I get into that, I wanted to show you, because of the vacuum port that this has on it, it's got this nice little cover that goes over that and helps project the debris and dust back into the vacuum portion of it, where this older one, that wheel just hangs out underneath it and the dust just basically will go everywhere. So that might be a nicer feature. The other thing that I like about the newer one compared to the old one is this table that goes on there. And it just hooks on there with a bolt. And this one's on there. But what I like about the newer one is the smooth surface that it has compared to this one. So if you're working with steel or anything that might have multiple burrs or edges on it, they always tend to get caught in these little grooves, where with this newer flat plate, they shouldn't get caught up at all. So I think I'm going to like that. I think I'm going to like the smoother surface. The other thing that this smooth surface will not do is hold the debris and dirt and grit like all these little channels did on this particular one. And I guess you guys all know how much I like organization and everything else. So this little fence guide goes in here, and the thing is entirely plastic except for the couple little rivets and screws. So I'm going to put this somewhere where it needs to go, right there, because those things are worthless. All right, so in the spirit of the way I look at things, and there's got to be a better way. I know I talked earlier about not being able to remove this belt because of the bracket that was down here, and you had to use a tool up here to release it so you could lift that up and then slide the belt off. Well, in good old One-Eye Customs fashions, I moved this bracket from here. You can see those tapped holes. Moved it over here, spun it around, and I added my own bracket out here. So now that gives me a solid mount, just as it was over on this side underneath. It was actually hitting on the plastic shielding, but now it's hitting the solid bracket that I bent up, and just tap some holes in that. So now I can leave it down, lock down that screw, and this is how I'd normally run it. So if I want to change the belt real quick, now I can release it and slide it off, and I'm actually sliding it off to the side that's much easier because of the way I have it mounted on my bench over there too. So I guess that was my one way of, I know there's got to be a better way, and the better way was for me because that's the easiest way to get that on and off. So now I can remove the belt from the side I needed it to come off on and just put it on and lock it down. And now I can keep that, like I said, keep that locked down. I don't have to lift this up, then release it to get it slid out past that bracket. So there is, I guess, my last upgrade to this. And we're going to go ahead and jump over to the stall out comparison. And I'm not sure which one's going to do better. But like I showed you earlier, this one is faster. So if you keep the same amount of pressure, the faster one should take off more material and work better. But I guess I'm still curious myself because I haven't run this. I haven't run anything on it, so I don't know where it's going to stall. So let's get to that, and then we'll finish this video up. In order to do this test as fair as I can possibly think, I'm going to use the exact same belt on this one, switch it over to the new one, and see which one stalls out and which one keeps going. What I've got here is just a rather large piece of 1/2-inch steel plate that was a cutoff of something. And I'm going to set the belt down on this surface all the way across here, which is pretty much all of the flat surface across the top of the belt sanders. I'm going to lay it down on there, and I'm going to hold it back here and just let the weight of this show whether it's going to stall or not. So let's go. So that one stalls it right out. So I think we have a clear winner in that category too. The newer one did not stall out with the same piece of steel going across, where the older one did stall. So I think with having the extra speed and a little bit extra power, that this is definitely got a clear advantage. Will this last 30 years? I doubt it. Will I still be doing this stuff in 30 years? I doubt it. But let's hope I can get a couple good 10 or 15 years out of this thing, and we can retire this old guy. So if you like the video, you know what you're supposed to do. Give me that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of the test here. Hopefully this thing will work out for me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.